have we actually got up to doing weekly uploads? Maybe. Who knows? But today I choose to practice some portrait drawings. One portrait drawing. Ignore the second reference photo because nothing happens to that. Like, that's not in this drawing session. So this speed painting took me about 2 hours to get done, and we shall watch the process. So let's get into that. Hello and welcome to another speed painting. This is just me. At first, it was like I was going to try figuring out my style to do portraits because I've been feeling like I've been in a bit of a slump from that. But then, as it went on, I was like, we could do better. Yeah, we could make this more realistic. So then this ends up just me being, like, practicing and copying, like, a portrait. And sort of just tweaking it and playing around with things. And I've mentioned a few times that I wanted to sort of play with different brushes, especially, like, textured ones and stuff like that. And I actually do that here. I've been experimenting and playing with things on my own time, and I find that for sketching wise and potential line art, I like using the pencil rough 2 in Medibang because it's toothier and it just doesn't feel final and it's more sketchier in that sense. So I sort of like it to do these sketches, and I also like using it to do like outlines if I choose to do outlines. But yeah, so those are the sort of go-to brushes for sketching, outline, and then for coloring skin tone, I choose to go with the oil pastel, not the thin one, just the oil pastel regular one, so it doesn't taper off. The reason for that is because it is also, once again, more toothier, it blends nicer, and like skin isn't like smooth like a balloon. It's more, it has texture and stuff. So this sort of helped me keep up with texture and things like that. And then for the hair, I use the wet watercolor brush, which helps because it's smoother. Hair can be textured and stuff, but it's also smoother. And since the brush size goes down very small, it's nice to do those detailed, finer, thinner hair to add the details and stuff. The really cool thing too, by the way, note, there's a bit of a change in music taste, purely because I was like, this doesn't really fall into like any mood of some sort, so we'll just vibe with the music taste that, you know, I want to go with. Anyways, so those are sort of the things that are important, is to use texture. The brushes that I select also helps to prevent me from over blending and things like that. Sometimes what I'll do to help me blend without using a blender or a blur, I will lower the opacity of my brushes. I don't know if that is useful for people. I'm never like, yeah, I'll teach you how to do something, because I'm also learning and experimenting with things, but yeah. So, as I've learned in the past, it's sort of difficult just to use color picker to pick from the color of the pictures to the actual painting, because color theory, so sometimes if you're not working on the same background, it doesn't quite translate. This time I did, but there is a bit of a gradient and things like that with the original background, so that could also mess up color theory for you and the color scheme. The other thing is because if you just happen to pick a pixel off, then the color will be off for the whole piece. So I was sort of eyeballing it, but I was also trying to grab colors that would sort of work for what I already laid down. I think when it comes up to portraits like these, they're the reason why I usually only work on one layer. So usually when you do digital art and things like that, when it gets to more complex things, you tend to do different layers, so then you can adjust layer colors, you know, independently of each other. But at this point, I already only like used one layer to blend everything together and work on colors, so I can't quite adjust colors to look better. Oops, my apologies. But yeah, I'm just working back and forth. I work from the lightest tone to the darkest shade, and then I start filling things out and blending in from there. It's not perfect, but it's significantly better than what I've been doing lately, I feel. So it's sort of boosting up my confidence a bit. It reminds me that I'm not the world's worst artist, and that I'm capable of doing better things than what I've been producing lately. Art, there is no other competition with other people. Those are just tools to help you learn. Art, you are competing against yourself. That's your biggest competition. Whew. Anyways, so yeah, I'm just filling out details and stuff. So initially what I wanted to do was like play around with portraits, and I keep gathering portraits reference photos, and I'm like, okay, 30 minutes top, and then we'll figure out a style, like short my time so then I'm like simplifying things and I can figure out what the heck do I want to do. That didn't happen here, obviously. As you could tell, I sped this up to maybe 16 times speed, and it's about 2 hours that I spent on this. So yeah. Next week, question mark, will I have a video for next week, or will it be bi-weekly again? Who knows? Next week I plan, I already recorded it, I just have to put it all together and edit it and stuff. But next week I actually do shorten the amount of time I do for each portraits. That's why there are some trashy ones. Oops, daisy. But yeah, so I work around trying to sort of see if I could simplify faces and sort of just rough in faces and see what happens to that. Just practice a bit, warming up muscles, things like that. And some turned out better than the others. The other ones, not so much. If you want this link, by the way, the reference photo, I will link my Pinterest boards where you can find like a whole bunch of just portrait photos and references and weird things. And you can also find the pictures that I use for the This to That series, where I take like an inspiration photo and I transform it to something else. Who knows? Usually it's a person, but sometimes it's like a scene or a background or something. Haven't done that series in a while, it feels like. Oops. But yeah. So, that's basically next week. There are some things that I could have done better with angling, I feel like. There are reasons why I don't get paid to do portrait drawings is because there's something that's off on them, and I can't figure it out. For this one, I think it's because her chin is too long, though. That could have been probably corrected with darker shading under the chin. I find that like my eyes doesn't quite catch the true length of the chin because there's like that under shading where the chin meets the neck type thing. So I'm always like, oh. But yeah, her chin should be shorter than that. And yeah, so I think I'm just working in details, working in getting darker things. That's something that I've had trouble in the past, is contrast, so we get that fixed here. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. My favorite part of the speed painting was adding in the hair and the hair details, just like having fun with just doing wavy lines and thin lines and like gathering them all together and stuff. Yeah, so I just had a lot of fun with that. And yeah, that's basically all I really have to talk about this portrait drawing. It was fun, I enjoyed it. It was a good reminder that I can produce better things than I have been recently, so but yeah, so I've just finished writing a script. Oh my god, it's gonna be such a short video. I know it, I can feel it. But then the speed painting is gonna take so long, and this, like, doing the piece, it's gonna take me, it feels like it's gonna take me such a long time just to do the piece that has to go with the script. But I'm like, it's gonna be like 5 hours or something. It's gonna take me a while because there'll be like a background scene and everything. But I'm like, it's gonna take me like 5 hours for like this 5 minutes video of me just introducing the project type thing. And I'm like dreading it because it's just a lot to get done. And backgrounds, you know, isn't my strong suit. But I plan on doing the sketch first and then we'll do like a speed painting coloring thing. So I'll save you guys from watching me trying to figure out perspectives and stuff, and we'll go from there. And then I'm working on the second part of that series, so that will be interesting. We'll see how this goes. If like I go back to bi-weekly schedule, it's because of this big huge project that I sort of want to work on and see how it goes. There's a lot of things. It's pushing me in a lot of areas. The project, it's like pushing me in like audio stuff because I have to work on voicing and things like that. I also need to work on backgrounds, so the art stuff and like working with color schemes and things like that. It's hopefully going to be detailed. Hopefully I don't get burnt out or frustrated, and hopefully I don't quit halfway through. And then not really editing. Editing won't be a big huge issue because it's just going to be the sped up time and things like that. But it's just going to be like the actual art itself, the audio, recording, and playing with sound effects and things like that. So, whew, that project has me like sweating. I'm nervous. But yeah. It's a big thing, a big undertaking, but we'll see how that goes. And then working on the script for that, working on the storyline for that. I have to work on story writing and things like that, so that will be interesting to see. And yeah, so that's the big project. I'm super excited about it though. So like, crossing my fingers, hoping, yeah. So it's a bit like a storytelling thing, but with the speed painting, and then there might be something interesting with the speed painting that maybe you want to pay attention to because it might correlate with the storyline, you know? So like maybe not the first one though, because the first one is just like an introductory, but like later on, you know, there might be some things slipped inside there. I'm just saying, it might be interesting. But yeah, so that's been going. To be honest, the shop things have just been ignored. I've been just focusing on trying to get videos done in my schoolwork and stuff. This week I happen to have a bit of time because we're supposed to be preparing for midterms and stuff like that. So I've had a bit of time to record and do these types of things and get ready for just uploading more content and maybe weekly uploads. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. So the speed painting should be coming to a close, and then I will show you the final results. I hope everyone has been alright. Messed up there. Gonna ignore it. But I hope everyone's been doing alright, and I hope you've enjoyed the speed painting. So if you are looking forward to hearing about this big project or like seeing the introduction thing to the big project, consider subscribing to me. I hope to get it within like a month or two time, hopefully. We'll see. But yeah, so I hope to get that finished if you're interested in that. If you're interested in more speed paintings like this, me ranting and talking about what I'm discovering in art, consider subscribing as well. And if you just like the video, maybe you like the music, I don't know, maybe you like the rant, consider liking the video. And with that being said, I hope you guys all stay safe, stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!